identify your goal for LinkedIn. So आजकल a lot of this and personal branding on LinkedIn and writing on LinkedIn and writing about Uber drivers on LinkedIn and कथाएं on LinkedIn, वो सब चाहिए नहीं. Okay, first of all, आपका goal क्या है on LinkedIn? You should be very clear, very clear. Today, LinkedIn had एक LinkedIn creator एक्सेलरेटर और एक लिंक्डइन क्रिएटर प्रोग्राम, बहुत कुछ लिंक्डइन ने चलाया था. तो सबसे पहला था लिंक्डइन क्रिएटर प्रोग्राम. आई एम अ पार्ट ऑफ दैट बिकॉज आई राइट अ लॉट ऑन लिंक्डइन. सो दे हैड रीच्ड आउट टू मी सेइंग ये यू आर नाउ अ लिंक्डइन क्रिएटर एटसेट्रा. But that is not my goal. My goal is also not to write posts that get 200 likes and comments and all. It's not I'm very clear on my goal. My goal is business. My goal, that's what I enjoy. That is my bread and butter. Everything else, which is my personal brand, जो अब बन गया है, she means business, is a side effect, byproduct. So a lot of people approach LinkedIn opposite. मुझे personal brand बनाना है LinkedIn पे, right? And then everything else will happen, byproduct होगा. मुझे ऐसा करना ही नहीं है. मुझे sales करनी, मुझे clients चाहिए LinkedIn पे, right? So I start from there. I want clients on LinkedIn. My goal is very clear. I am a learning facilitator. I do workshops in communication skills, presentation skills, and whatever my subjects are. I need HR. My client is HR, L&D heads and managers, and business heads, particularly sales heads, because they do a lot of programs for their sales teams. It's the largest body in any organization. Sales is always the largest body in every. So sales heads, business heads do a lot of trainings, behavioral training for their teams. ये team मेरी audience है. ये team बस ठीक है. This is my audience. Now I am very clear that I know I want these people to connect with me, and I also want these people to know what I do, right? So that's my goal. So as any person who's doing sales, that should be your goal. So your goal should be first identify clearly who your TG is on LinkedIn, right? आप किसको क्या आप किसको बेचते हैं? सबसे पहले तो ये. Whom are you selling to? Be very clear on that, right? Once you've done that, so if you're selling, let's say you're selling any product, suppose you're selling something that has to go to startup founders, it could be a SaaS product or it could be a software product. So you figure out who your audience is very clear, right? Then you also should be very clear on the product that you're selling, that this is what I want to sell. In my case, it is my workshops. In your case, it could be a SaaS product. It could be anything. It could be office furniture for all you care, right? It could be any digital marketing agency you have. You need to reach out to marketing people, right? And you should also know what kind of companies will hire you, right? So your product should be very clear. My product is communication skills, presentation skills, whatever, workshops, right? Now, for me, that is the two things that I'm very clear on. So now I've got my goal. मुझे क्या बेचना है, किसको मुझे बेचना है, ठीक है? And then I've got my TG on LinkedIn, very clear. And the third thing which I have is I'm very clear on the product I want to sell and how differentiated my product is. These three things you should be very clear on, right? And everything flows from there. A lot of people on LinkedIn will tell you that LinkedIn is about, creating a personal brand, so creating content every day, writing, getting people to follow you. It is not. नहीं है. मतलब इतना सारा आजकल ज्ञान है लिंक्डइन पे. आपका गोल क्लियर, आपका जो ब्रांड, सो I have to sell communication skills, I have to sell presentation skills. मैं सिर्फ उनके बारे में लिखती हूँ. That's it. At least 80% of my content you will see is videos work for me. I create videos in any case because I have a YouTube channel, but I also write. Is about presentation skills, is about communication skills, is about presence, is about body language, etc. Because I want my TG to know this is what I talk about. And if you get my workshop, this is what the kind of content that you will get. That's it. That's my this thing. So you don't have to land up on LinkedIn every day and write, बहुत सारी किस्से कहानियां about. You don't have to put yourself under the pressure कि मुझे content लिखना है. आपको content नहीं लिखना. आपका बस प्रोफाइल बहुत बढ़िया होना चाहिए, बहुत ही बढ़िया प्रोफाइल होना चाहिए. Because when you reach out to people to either connect, or if you send them an email or a DM, they will come back and see your profile. They will come back and see your profile, right? Yeah. First of all, your profile should be absolutely correct. right? Let me take you through what I mean by that. If you see my headline, it says I train, speak and create content on impactful presence. मुझे वहां कोई ज्ञान चाहिए ही नहीं. मुझे वहां नहीं लिखना सेल्स इवेंजलिस्ट या फिर आजकल आई सी वेरी क्रिएटिव, उससे क्या मतलब होता है, उसका कोई मतलब भी नहीं निकलता है, राइट? सो बहुत क्लियर है कि आई ट्रेन, hire me for training. I also speak and I create content. If you want content created on impactful presence, I am there for you, right? So be very clear, right? We are not here, all of us, to build, the personal brand will happen separately. How are we using LinkedIn is what is, important. So I train. Then you come, आपका जो ये bio, ये जो portion होता है ना नीचे आपके नाम के नीचे, there again I've written learning facilitator, and this is what I teach: executive presence, communication skills. I am also a DNI facilitator. I'm a team building facilitator. I'm a keynote speaker, content creator, and I've also mentioned my YouTube achievements business because YouTube carries all my videos. It's where all my videos are anchored, where people can see my content and मैं किस किस्म का content create करती हूँ, what kind of a speaker I am, what are the subjects I speak on. Everything is there on YouTube, which is why I mentioned here. This area is a searchable area, right? So आप जब भी आप learning facilitator डालेंगे, अगर यहाँ मैंने learning facilitator लिखा हुआ है तो वो आएगा. Similarly, you should put what you're doing here. So suppose someone is looking for a digital marketing agency, they should be able to find you if you work in a digital marketing agency, right? If someone is looking for your kind of product, it should be there. This is where I see a lot of people writing very creative gyan. This is not the place for gyan, right? This is the place which is SEO friendly. This is the place where searchable terms should be there. So put sales head, regional sales head, likho wahan pe apna designation. And again, I see a lot of personal branding LinkedIn strategists saying ki, you are more than your designation, you are more than the company you work for. Yes, you are, but currently you're using LinkedIn to, what is LinkedIn? It will get you more opportunity. Okay, opportunities kya hai? You will do sales for your product, and then you will make incentives, you will get in more revenue, you will get in more sales. That's our objective, right? Everything else is long term. Long term, yes, you also may be wanting to shift to another great company. Of course, why not? You may want to also look for a job. पर उसमें भी अगर आप यहाँ नहीं लिखेंगे आप क्या करते हैं, how will they find you? I to suggest putting your company name also, because what happens is when you search for people, this is the portion that comes up. इतना सा snippet आता है. And I find it very annoying when I can't see the name of the company. So for example, if I'm looking for L&D heads or HR head, right? I type L&D head. If they've written L&D over here, it will come up. But I can't see the name of the company. तो मतलब मुझे लगता है ये कौन है, then I will have to go to the profile. So you're actually not helping the person. And sometimes people won't do that second step. Company का नाम लिखो, designation लिखो, and then write a little bit about yourself as well if you want to. But this is a very, very important area. This learning facilitator, executive presence, जहाँ मैंने लिखा, which is your bio, right? You mention that over there very, very clearly. Now, your profile should be absolutely complete, right? So where you stay, what your contact information is, all of that. When you go down, I have mentioned some featured posts also. So out of my posts that, which I think are very, very important. So for example, I do one-on-one consultations. That's right on top. I want people to see it, right? You can also do that. You can write a post about your company. Or if you're running an offer, for example, your company is running an offer, write a post on that and feature it right on top. So whoever comes to your profile will be able to see that post immediately. So these are my featured posts. And one is a one-on-one consultation because that's what I want, right? Currently, I'm running one-on-one consultations. The second is a branded exercise that I did. Because I'm a LinkedIn creator, I get some brands reaching out to me, whatever. And the third is subscribe to my YouTube channel. Why? Because my YouTube channel is very important. I want people to go see my videos. I speak about the subjects that I sell, right? So मैंने ये तीन को featured बनाया. Then you have an about section. Clearly mention what is it that you do, mention about your product, what is it, where do you work, what is it that you sell. You can write a little bit about your past experience, because at the end, LinkedIn is also about you as a person, not just about the current company that you're working for. It's also about you. And as a salesperson, it's also about the relationships that you build with people. So they're not reaching out to you, or you're not reaching out to people only to sell a product. You also want to build a relationship with them. This helps them to get to know you. कि आप कौन हो, पहले क्या किया है, कहाँ काम करते थे. So make it very clear. Again, no long stories over here. What is it that you do? What were you doing earlier? So a little bit about yourself. You come to experience. This again is, make it as complete as possible. Write your designation, write the company that you work for, write exactly what you do at the company, write what is it that you sell in this company, right? So I am a trainer and a speaker. Everything I've written. I'm a chief learning facilitator for She Means Business. I'm a trainer and a speaker, and my subject is elective presence. So in your profile also, when you mention your jobs, write clearly. A lot of times, again, I only see designation, company niche, and nothing filled up underneath that. Again, I don't know you. Why this is important, and I'll come back to this. And you can all go back and look at your LinkedIn profiles. Why this is important is कि आप जब when you DM someone, or when you send an email to someone, or when you send even a connection request to someone, they need to know exactly what you do and who you are. A lot of people tell me that मेरा connection request accept नहीं होता है, or people don't respond to my DMs, or people don't. I don't know you. First of all, secondly, I will always go back and look at your LinkedIn profile. If it doesn't give me a picture of who you are, chances are I will not bother. 10,000 people are writing to me. If I write to one L&D head saying I do presentation skills, imagine the amount of mails, cold calls, DMs that this person gets from trainers all over saying I do presentation skills ka workshop. Why will she even bother to respond to me? Right? Unless and until my profile is very compelling. मैंने पूरा लिख रखा है कि मैं क्या हूँ क्यों. It's a sort of a virtual relationship that you're beginning to build. So it's a relationship that you're beginning to build, right? Very, very, very important to have a complete profile. So आपका bio searchable होना चाहिए. उसमें आप क्या करते हैं, कौन सी कंपनी के लिए काम करते हैं, वो तो बहुत ही इंपॉर्टेंट है, राइट? नीचे आपका अबाउट सेक्शन, बिकॉज आई वुड वांट टू रीड who you are. And when you write about your company, right, not just vice president so and so company, time, उसके नीचे कुछ नहीं है, right? So tell me a little bit about what is it that you're doing in this company, right? What is it that you sell, what is it that you handle? For every experience you should do that, because now it gives me a picture of who you are. Am I going to say yes to a connection? Am I going to respond to your DM? Really depends upon all of this. So have a complete LinkedIn profile, and LinkedIn will tell you 90% complete, 70% complete. और कई बार क्या होता है ना, अगर आप डेजिग्नेशन वो प्रोफाइल में अगर वो नहीं डालें, एक्सपीरियंस में अगर वो नहीं डालें, वो नहीं बताता है आपको कि once you filled up the experience, it says okay, it's done. It is on you. The onus is on you to completely write the whole thing. What is it that you're doing in that organization? For example, suppose again, I'll give you my example. You can relate with that, right? So उसमें लिखा हुआ L&D head so and so company, right? Now I don't know this L&D or HR, हाँ, HR so and so company. अब HR में recruitment है, payroll है, L&D है, so much. I don't know who you are. आप क्या देखते हो, तो मुझे नहीं पता, right? So, but if somebody writes HR, I look after recruitments for northern, region of, and I've been doing it for so and so. I, make the JDs and put it out, and I connect with recruitment agencies. Like I'm a recruitment agency, I know this is the person I need to reach out to. Okay. So similarly, you should be completely filling up your profile so that everybody knows that this is the person that I want to reach out to, or this is the person who beneficial to have on contact, right? As a connect, right? So it's very, very important to fill up the whole thing. So experience, about section, and that little bio that you have just underneath your name, these are critical. And these are also SEO. These are searchable, right? So fill this whole thing up, have a good headshot. I don't even need to tell you. If there is no photo on LinkedIn, it's out of question. I will not, that person doesn't exist for me. Why would you not want to put a photo on LinkedIn, right? Again, it's natural human tendency. You want to see who this person is. It's also more credible profile then. If there is no photo, it just doesn't look like a credible. This person is not serious about LinkedIn. This person is not serious about doing business on LinkedIn. So please have a photo. And I'm telling you that LinkedIn is such a minefield of opportunities, such a minefield of sales opportunities if you use it correctly. I've seen it happen. It's such a minefield of opportunities, right? So this is as far as a profile is concerned. A lot of people, when this Juno ad went up, sent me a lot of requests, and I will tell you why I have not accepted it, right? So quickly, before I go on to the next section, which is the most important section, I will quickly tell you why I have not. LinkedIn gives you 30,000 connection requests, right? It also gives you follows is unlimited. connections is 30,000. Now, it seems like a very large number. 30,000 seems like a very large number, but I am very conservative with connections, and I'll tell you why. I make connections with people, and I actually made a video on this. It's up on my YouTube. I connect with people who it makes sense for me. What is the difference? In a connect and a follow, what is the difference? In connect, I can have a direct chat in my DM with this person. If I don't have a premium account, I can have a direct chat. In follow, I can comment, I can engage, they can comment, they can engage on my post. So that's how it is, right? So I only connect with people where I feel the need to have a direct chat with them. So this could be business related, first of all. So if an HR person sends, I will quickly accept. If a marketing head sends, I will quickly accept, because I also now work with brands on creating content, right? So anybody for whom I would like to have a chat, I connect, I accept the connection, right? But if I feel that you will benefit from my from my content, right, then I don't accept your request. You can follow me, because now you can leave me a comment. If you have a question also, you can leave me a comment and I will answer that question. You can leave me a comment saying underneath any video, latest post, whatever. You can say, oh, I had seen a presentation skill video of yours. This is the question I wanted to ask you. I answer, right, to all your comments. If you have any questions, you can leave me a comment. But a connection, I am conservative with, because I have 30,000, right? And I only want to connect with people who I feel work-wise or business-wise or just networking-wise, it makes sense for me to connect with them and then have a conversation with them, right? For example, lately I've been connecting with a lot of digital agencies because I want to expand my footprint, right? So these are people I want to talk to, and I want to understand that, can you help me in some way? Can we work together? So only people that I feel, और ऐसे सोचते सोचते ना इतने सारे connections हो जाते, right? So be conservative with your connections, and uninhibitedly connect with people who are your target audience. उनके साथ तो भेजो, connection request भेजो, but for me, how it works is I will send a lot of connection requests to HR, marketing head, sales head, whatever I need to talk to at that point. And when I get a request also, I will evaluate. I will look at the profile. I will look at whether at some future stage we will want to talk to each other. If it doesn't make sense, then I say that, okay, let's follow each other. And then we can comment on each other's posts. We can learn from each other. But currently, maybe it doesn't make sense for me to connect with, right? So that's how I treat my connect versus follow. I'm very clinical and very process oriented about that, right? So this is connect versus follow. The next thing is you have a great profile now. You've completely, because you want people to come back and you want to see your profile and then accept your connection request or, listen to your DM or whatever. The next thing is that I create content, because I've seen that, that has helped me a lot. But for a lot of people, it's very challenging to create content. Kya content banao? And this has become a problem for many. LinkedIn pe content, so people tell you content likho, viral post hona chahiye. Bilkul bhi nahi. Bilkul bhi nahi. Let me tell you the secret about this. The secret is very simple. आपको क्या बेचना है, आप उसके बारे में लिखो. That's it. As simple as that. Again, remember your goal. Remember your goal. Your goal is to, be known as a great salesperson. And currently, your goal is to sell the product that you're selling now, right? Long-term personal branding will happen. मैं workshops बेचती हूँ. Workshops बेचने के चक्कर में मैं presentation skills के videos बनाती हूँ या behavioral skills के content बनाती हूँ. And now, over a period of the last 4-5 years, I've developed a personal brand also. Okay, this girl talks about presentation skills. This girl talks about behavioral skills. She means great videos. Even things like I always generally wear a sari in my video. वो भी popular हो चुका है कि this is the girl saris. People write to me about my saris also. तो brand आपका बन जाता है, right? So your brand over a period of time, what you're writing बन जाएगा. But focus only on what your industry is or what your product is. And I will tell you, there are people who use this so lovely, in such a lovely manner. तो आप जो प्रोडक्ट के बारे में, आप फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल तो इतना कंटेंट आपको अपनी कंपनी से ही मिलेगा, राइट? जो चीज आप प्रोस्पेक्ट को बोलते हैं वो आप लिंक्डइन पे क्यों नहीं लिख सकते हैं, ठीक है? सो फॉर एग्जांपल, you're running an offer on your product, वो डालो, अपने लिंक्डइन पे भी डालो. Your connections will be able to see it, right? Over a period of time it will grow. आपने नया कोई प्रोडक्ट लॉन्च किया, उसके बारे में आप लिखो, okay, the company has launched this product, this is what it does, briefly उसके बारे में लिखो, connect with me if this interests you. At least there is now content on your page. Yeah, and you also look very passionate. It's a great way to, you also look like such a passionate employee, first of all, because LinkedIn ultimately is a personal platform, right? It's not something that you're using for the company. It's not a company website. It's your personal platform, right? You use it. But imagine you look like someone who's a passionate, driven, consistent employee also, right? Whatever you're selling, right? So you look so driven and so consistent. So at least 50% of your product, of your content should be just talking about, your product. क्या आपने नया लॉन्च किया है, कोई ऑफर चल रहा है कि नहीं चल रहा है, जस्ट आपकी कंपनी पेज होगी, उसको फॉरवर्ड करो, right? उसको आप repost करो, right? So at least there's some activity on your profile. People who come to your profile can see what is it that what you do and how consistent and passionate you are. तो उसको forward करो, repost करो. The rest 50% could be anything about your industry. Whichever industry you're in, you could find articles around that industry. Or you can just write about financial industry है तो उसके बारे में कुछ लिख सकते हो आप, right? But you don't necessarily have to do that. Even if you just talk about your product, talk about who you are, it's more than enough. वो भी अगर challenging लगता है, that you also, if you find challenging, then all you do is comment and engage with people in your industry or your clients. So find your clients on LinkedIn. सबसे पहले तो clients ढूंढो. Okay, so I'll give you the example of my husband. Okay, my husband has been working in mutual funds for a very, very long time. He was at a very senior post in mutual funds with a big mutual fund company. He was looking after the banking division, and he was looking after distributors. Then typically, like a lot of people in 40s, he said, "Abhi मैं कुछ नया करूंगा." So he went and joined a boutique investment firm. They have what is known as a PMS fund, which is a boutique firm, small fund. His clients now have completely changed, completely. So all the years that he spent building, a client base and networking, and he's very well known in that industry. Now he's selling mutual fund, but a different type of mutual fund. And his client base is completely shifted, and he's very happy with that because he wanted to do something new. So from banks and distributors of mutual funds, his clients now are HNIs and family offices, right? Because it's a expensive ticket size fund, right? So he used LinkedIn. He has a certain credibility in the industry, a certain equity in the industry, and people know him. So he's connected within the mutual fund industry. One mutual fund wale sare LinkedIn pe connected hai. And then he started reaching out to people, to family offices, and to but he doesn't really create content. He doesn't create content. His profile is very distinct, and then people see whom he's connected to. He's connected to all the diggaj log within that industry, and then he started reaching out to family offices, and he started reaching out to HNIs. And his simple thing was he would send them an email or a DM saying that this is what it is, this is what I sell, and I come with years of experience. And he's not pushy at all. He doesn't say kharido. He doesn't say whatever. He says, I would love to meet up with you once. He's a master salesman. Master salesperson. I think Juno School, I will ask Juno School to, also he's a master salesman. He was sales head at a mutual fund industry, a mutual fund company, and he's master. I've seen him, how in this new company in the last 2 years, he has built quickly another pipeline and he's converted a lot of clients. So he used LinkedIn very, very well. And he would reach out saying a very nice message saying, this is what we sell. And then he put in the benefit of the product. One, single. I also feel that हम लोग जब डीएम करते हैं या फिर मैसेज भेजते हैं, इतना कुछ लिख देते हैं, इतना मतलब उसमें मैं ये भी करता हूँ, ये प्रोडक्ट ये भी करता है. One message per communication. Always, when you write a mail, when you write a DM, when you send a WhatsApp message, one message. Bandwidth ही नहीं है. 30 सेकेंड रील देखते हैं अब हम. हाँ, 4 मिनट का हम वीडियो भी नहीं देख सकते. आप उनको ऐसे मतलब 4-5 पैराग्राफ का किसी को डीएम भेजेंगे जिसको आप जानते भी नहीं हो, वो कहेगा मैं क्यों पढ़ूं. मतलब मैं 30 सेकेंड रील देखने का बैंडविड्थ नहीं है मेरा. स्क्रॉल स्क्रॉल स्क्रॉल. सो मतलब मैं क्यों इतना लंबा चौड़ा, और कितना भी आप उसको बोल्ड कर ले, कितना भी की मैसेज को बोल्ड हाईलाइट, वोंट वर्क. One message, one key takeaway from your message. So this is the benefit of this. Would love to meet up with you sometime. And the message is not very, very bechara. Please give me a this thing time. It's a very because he's a very senior position, and that's how it should be, even when you're not a very senior person. Would love to meet up with you sometime. These are my coordinates. Let me know if next week sometime works with you. So close ended kar diya. His name is Prithipal Singh, Prithipal, Prithipal Singh. He works with a company called Equitas. So he used to be the sales head at BNP Paribas Mutual Fund, and before that he was with Nippon, earlier Reliance Mutual Funds. So that's how you send your DMs, right? So let me come back. We spoke about I went away to DMs, but let me come back. Connect with people in your industry, right? So you have a great profile, right? You completed the whole profile. Find people in your find people in your industry, and find people who are your target audience. These are the two people that you should be connecting with, right? Target audience तो बहुत जरूरी है. Okay? Connect with your target audience, right? Now, a lot of times we treat it as a very transactional relationship. हम एक को भेजेंगे एक लंबा, उसको या तो इंट्रोडक्टरी मैसेज डालेंगे. कई बार तो हम इंट्रोडक्टरी मैसेज भी नहीं डालते हैं. We've connected with our prospect, and then the prospect has for some reason connected back with us. Shoot a DM saying, this is who I am, this is what I do. Not interested. Most people say not interested. Now, it works also, it doesn't work also, right? I've seen it work also, I've seen it not work also. I realized that as a salesperson, I do my own sales, and I've seen my husband and I've seen other people also. As a salesperson, you do have to be pugnacious. A lot of people say, don't send me DM, don't send me this, don't send me that. My point is, but मुझे बेचना भी है. मुझे तो अपना revenue कमाना है. I have to, make my own revenue. I will send the message, right? But I will send it in a way that it is not intrusive. It doesn't look like I'm selling something. It looks like, this is my product. Okay, this is what I do. And this is the one thing that I do very differently, right? And I would love to meet up with you and generally chat with you on this, right? So I don't make it, like that person is not obliged at all, but I introduce it. अब उसके दिमाग में वो आ गया. So I write a short message. I sent a link to my YouTube channel, right? Saying that now that person, they have that YouTube channel. If they want, they can see a video. They cannot. उनके दिमाग में ना somewhere I'm there now, right? Because I know कि immediately तो होगा नहीं. And that's how we all know as salespeople, that patience. We need patience, right? But we have to do our job, right? So I personally don't send an introductory message. वो होता है ना connection request के साथ you have to send an introductory message. I don't read them. I don't send them, right? My profile is more than enough. My profile is so complete and so good. It is more than enough. That's what I feel, right? But if your profile is not, if you still feel you want to send a message with your connection request, do. Just mention who you are and just send that message. If you don't, once that connection request has been accepted, send a DM. So between the people who say don't send DMs the minute you send this thing connection request, and the people who say do, I would say do. Just don't make it very, very salesy. You have connected with the person for a reason. It's a prospect, right? So send a message. I would send a message saying that this is what I do and would love to chat up with you and introduce my product to you. Now, somewhere I am in that brain. Then I do a follow-up. Then I start doing my follow-ups, right? कोई शर्म हया नहीं है. We all know sales में कोई शर्म हया नहीं, right? So I do a follow-up also. After, let's say, about 3 weeks, I would do a follow-up saying, would love to chat up with you. I would send my PDF. I would send everything, but I do it very gently. So I don't send a message that they will not understand. I don't send a very, very long message. It doesn't sound like I connected with you only because I wanted to send you this message, No. And I sometimes also accept it. Great to get in touch with you. The reason why I wanted to get in touch with you is because I saw that you need so and so. This is the industry that you're in. I actually sell something that you may be interested in. And this is how differentiated my product is. This is my YouTube channel. Why don't you go through it and maybe we can touch base later? Would love to meet up with you in a couple of weeks' time. Please let me know if possible. If not, this is my number. I have one more thing that I have done, which I've learned from my husband. I have a broadcast group, right? So I send my number, and I also say that I have a broadcast group. I send out little bites of learning information, which may be of interest to your team. If you're okay with it, just send me a hi and SMB on this number, and I will add you to my broadcast group. You'll be amazed how many people have added themselves to my broadcast group, right? Once they get added to my broadcast group, I don't sell. I just don't sell. I add value. I just keep adding value. So I keep sending snippets of information on learning. आई सेंड बाइट साइड लर्निंग, पहली बात तो ठीक है, प्रेजेंटेशन स्किल, प्रेजेंटेशन देते वक्त ये करोगे तो ऐसे होगा, दिस इज द आउटकम, राइट, great, and then they forward it, right? So I send little bits of value to them, something new I came across, some new book I read. Okay, I sometimes send books. So if I have a online, like a virtual copy of a book which I felt was great for presence, I will send it. I add a lot of value to that broadcast group. That broadcast group has become, it's come from my LinkedIn. Sometimes I put up a post saying, now they've seen my content. A lot of people have seen my content, right? And sometimes I put up a post saying, this is my broadcast group. If you like more such bite-sized content, join my broadcast group, right? So, and then they join, right? So this is how I've been using LinkedIn. So very simply, my profile is 100% complete and everything is there. Testimonials we have, right? Everything is there. In every experience, you will see I've written a little bit about that experience, right? I have not gone very deep down into my experience because it's not relevant. What I've been doing in the last 15, 20 years is all there, right? I post content. If you don't like to post content, then you can, just write about your product, write about what is it that you're selling, but try and create some content so that people can come back to your profile and see who you are and what it is that you're about, right? Send connection requests to your clients. Bindas. Do not fear it at all. If you have premium, send email also. But I would still say कि connection request 30,000 में connection request works, because then you can chat with them. Email भी आपके पास limited होता है. So just send connection request to your TG. They may accept it, they may not accept it. But you can always write an email to them later. तो पहले connection request भेजो. अगर तो उन्होंने accept कर लिया तो आपका एक email बच गया, right? अगर नहीं किया 3 weeks में तो आप email भेजो. मैं एक छोटा सा ट्रिक और बताती हूँ. मैं करती हूँ थोड़ी चीटिंग. मैं रिक्वेस्ट भेजती हूँ, ठीक है, एलएनडी को मैंने रिक्वेस्ट भेजा, दे हैव नॉट एक्सेप्टेड द रिक्वेस्ट. ओहो, अब क्या करें, आई रियली वांट टू क्रैक दैट क्लाइंट. आई यूज अदर मेथड्स आल्सो. आई रीच आउट, मेल, वो सब भी मैं करती हूँ. लेकिन लिंक्डइन पे क्या है, आई वांट देम टू सी माय कंटेंट ऑन लिंक्डइन, बिकॉज़ आई नो इफ दे सी माय कंटेंट ऑन लिंक्डइन दे विल कॉल मी फॉर अ मीटिंग, राइट? कनेक्शन रिक्वेस्ट भेजा, उन्होंने एक्सेप्ट नहीं किया, मैं वेट करती हूँ. हाँ, अगर 3-4 हफ्ते उन्होंने नहीं एक्सेप्ट किया तो मैं विड्रॉ कर लेती हूँ. There's a way of withdrawing. You just go and you withdraw the request. 3 weeks तक you cannot resend a connection request to that person, right? तो 3 weeks में आराम से बैठती हूँ. 3 हफ्ते के बाद मैं फिर से भेजती हूँ. So क्या होता है, I just increase my chances again of that person maybe seeing something now and coming back and saying, maybe now recently some friend has done a workshop with me or some other company that they know has done a workshop with me. The chances maybe have improved on them, this thing, my connection request. So that is what I do. I binda, the minute they connect with me, now it's fresh in their minds who I am. So I send a DM, but I send a DM which is very nicely worded. I don't push my product, right? And then I start following up with them. I try and get their phone number through my broadcast. That's the only way. I don't want to push them. So broadcast is a great way to get their phone number. Some of them actually do reach out, get their phone number from broadcast, for my broadcast. And then, of course, I take it from there. So this is how LinkedIn has really, really worked for me. Senior positions in any case are limited. And there are also many people. Obviously, the pyramid we know becomes very, very narrow. But if you have a brand within the industry, right? So, for example, go look at your profile. Also, I would say that you write about your industry a little bit. People are writing about their industry. These are senior people who are writing about their industry, and that is making them an authority on that subject. Very important to establish authority in a senior position if you're going to use LinkedIn. If you're just going to reach out to HR, they know why you're reaching out to them and they get a lot of applications. Job applications is a good way, right? So you see a position on LinkedIn, you click apply, you write that little message saying that I have applied for this, whatever the process is, that's good. But I would still say establishing a little bit of authority on LinkedIn is not a bad thing to do. Building presence on LinkedIn is not short term. It has taken me almost 5 to 6 years to get here, to become a LinkedIn creator, to get people to reach out to me. So I would say it's not short term, but I would say that you write a little bit about your industry with authority and you connect with people in your industry. Don't just connect with HR. Connect with people within your industry. It needn't necessarily be, very senior people or very junior people. Just connect with interesting people and start engaging. I have not really touched upon engagement so much, but I think that is one of the most valuable and most important parts of LinkedIn, right? LinkedIn पे genuinely putting a comment on somebody's opinion. First of all, to be careful of who you follow. आपको कोई follow कर रहा है नहीं कर रहा, that's a step. Be very careful of who you follow. Your feed ना, be क्या देखते हो आप दिन में LinkedIn. First of all, go to LinkedIn every day. It's a non-negotiable. Non-negotiable. Find 10 to 15 minutes. वो Instagram पे जाने के बजाय आप LinkedIn पे जाओ. ठीक है? Very important. It will add more value to you. So just don't go. So go to LinkedIn. 15 minutes. Curate your feed. अपनी इंडस्ट्री में से दिग्गज लोगों को फॉलो करो. Some important people who you and find those people. How will you find those people? When you start following people, when you connect with people, leave comments behind and start engaging with people in your industry, right? So I would engage with a lot of so diversity mein, of all the workshops I do, and I will say this honestly, of all the workshops I do, the ones that are diversity, that have only women in the room, gender diversity, only women, I enjoy the most. I think I have a natural this thing to be a, I like to train women. So I have connected with all the diversity D&I leaders within India, right? As many as possible. And whenever they write on D&I or whenever there's an event on D&I, I put in my 2 cents. मैं नीचे comment छोड़ती हूँ saying कि कुछ भी जो उन्होंने कोई event किया, and I will say कि what a lovely topic to touch upon, or I will try and visit and say कि I got this video and I thought it was really great and this is what my point is, right? So I think engaging with genuinely, not commenting for better reach. Yes, I agree. Yes, I disagree. 4 कमेंट छोड़ो दिन के, सिर्फ 4 कमेंट छोड़ो, बिना प्रेशर के दिन के छोड़ो, लेकिन वैल्यूएबल कमेंट छोड़ो. मैं बता रही हूँ, जब मैं वैल्यूएबल कमेंट्स छोड़ती हूँ ना, I can see people click on my profile, right? So when I leave a comment that really makes sense on somebody big's profile, not very big also, somebody has 1 million followers and उसके वो नीचे 1000 comments है, उसमें आप एक comment छोड़ोगे, कोई नहीं bother भी नहीं करेगा. लेकिन आप somebody within your industry who has, let's say, even 10,000 followers, who writes great content, उसके नीचे 5 comment है, उसमें आप अपना opinion दोगे as a senior person, people will come and look at your profile because I read all the comments, and also because it's like a virtual discussion. It's like a virtual discussion. So Karthik Srinivasan को मैं follow करती हूँ marketing के ऊपर. He writes every day on something interesting. I will post a comment. And then I also go and look at the profiles of other people who posted interesting comments, because these are interesting people. I just want to know who they are. So engaging, especially when you're looking for a senior, position, I would follow and connect with people in your industry. Find people who, write a lot of content and engage with those people. People within the industry will get to know about you. Use it like a networking platform that it is. Don't just make your profile and then run away. That little bit of hard work, 10 minutes of hard work will pay you so many returns. Comment छोड़ो, follow करो industry के लोगों को, उनके ऊपर opinion छोड़ो, get to know people. It's like if you were to enter a networking room, what would you do? You would talk to people, you would comment on something that people said. किसी ने कोई speech दी, उसको जाके बोलोगे आप कि this is what I agree, this is what I don't agree. हाथ ऊपर करके question पूछोगे उससे. It's the same thing. किसी ने कुछ लिखा. And one more thing, be nice on LinkedIn. Be positive, and do discussions on LinkedIn. That's all you do on LinkedIn. Don't get into other stuff at all, and don't get into faltu. Don't follow people who write all these, just because they want 1,000 likes wala post. Don't. It's not required at all. So just stick to valuable information related to your industry, but engage. That's when people will see you. You will become noticeable. And that's when applying will also become easier. A lot of senior positions are actually about people reaching out to you rather than you, constantly applying. So networking will really help. So I have used LinkedIn Premium and I have used Sales Navigator. It helps. It helps because you can refine your search, right? So you can exactly look for the person that you're, looking for. To me, that and the X number of free emails that I get, which I actually never end up using all of it because I forget. So that has the only thing that has worked for me, right? Honestly speaking, I have done all of this without premium. So I had premium twice. In both cases, it was offered to me free. And all of us get a free 1 month premium, right? I would suggest you try that free 1 month premium and then milk it. See how you can use it. If it makes sense for you, then you go in for a paid, and they keep running offers. Wait for an offer, only then take it up, right? To me, honestly, I have figured out my search very well without the premium and the sales navigator. And I now don't spend on that, right? So that's how I have done it. But try the free. I got it once when I became a LinkedIn creator. They gave me that 3 months ka free. And then again, recently they were running a program where again I got it for free. Honestly, I just feel that it's the search function which becomes much better. You can really figure out the search function. It makes it very easy to search, because what happens with normal is that you get only X number of searches in a month, right? You can only type in into the search bar X number of times, right? With premium and with sales navigator, it is unlimited. So that's my only thing. You have unlimited search, and you can refine your search a lot, and you get emails. That's your benefit. If you can still crack it without that, I'll sharpen your search. If you don't have sales navigator, just sharpen your search. So for example, I don't just say LND and then some random LND people will come. I will say LND, Delhi. I will refine it as much as possible to our industry. So currently I was only looking, I already have an equity in the BFSI industry. I do a lot of trainings for financial services. So I said कि पहले LND and DNI फाइनेंशियल सर्विसेज में पूरा ढूंढते हैं, उसके बाद दूसरी इंडस्ट्री में जाएंगे, राइट? सो आई हैव लर्नड टू रिफाइन, व्हिच इज आई डोंट रियली नीड सेल्स navigator. So I would say you try it for 1 month and then you see whether it works for you.
In my case, because I'm a solopreneur, right? Earlier, I only had a personal profile. My page is, I started, if you see it, it's just become active. I think I've just got 5 or 6 posts on that page, right? To me, the personal profile is way more important. Way more important, because I'm a solopreneur. At the end of the day, people will reach out to me. And also because in a personal profile, you can just be more personal. The language you use and just the way I write and the way I connect with people is just more personal, and people get to know me because I'm a solopreneur. I created the page only because I felt the recent times, the algorithm has changed, and the exposure of my post has gone down slightly. LinkedIn has changed its algorithm, and पहले वो बहुत सारे लोग relevant लोग देखते हैं, अभी काफी कम लोग देखते हैं पोस्ट को. So only to increase my exposure, I have started a page, right, where I also post similar content. I feel that some people will see that and some new people will follow me on my page and then see that also, right? That's the only reason why I started it. But if you were to ask me, I would say that a personal profile is, for me, it works. And this is just like a backup that I've created. It is entirely my personal profile that I focus on. I just put the same content with a slightly different change of tone and this thing on my page, on my company page, the personal profile. For me, that personal profile, because people connect, see, people will follow your page, but they will never be able to connect with you. They will connect with you only on a personal profile. So if I had to do one, I would only do profile. That is only my backup to put up content. It's as simple as that. Virtually connect with people and then ask for meetings, because it's not something that people will take a call on LinkedIn. For me, for a workshop or a sample session or whatever, it works on LinkedIn. I've sold sample sessions. People have seen, and people have, there's a company called Ship Constructors Software. They create software for ships. They saw one session, they saw one live, and they reached out to me and we did a session. It's as simple as that. In your case, that will not work. In your case, the process will be to get as many people who are your clients to connect with you, prospects to connect with you, first of all, right? Firstly, they'll become aware of what is it that you do. Look for meetings. You have to crack meetings, right? It's as simple as that, because I'm assuming your product, you will have to go and explain your product. It's a high ticket size. You will have to have multiple rounds of meetings for them to get converted, right? So revenue for you, the first thing is look for, in my husband's case also, high ticket size. The initial investment into their fund is also high ticket. So family offices and HNIs. He doesn't say he invest in this thing. Never. It's about a meeting and a coffee, right? And that first meeting and a coffee is also not sales. It's industry, talking about money, talking about investment, very senior. But it's only meetings and becoming aware of the product. It's as simple as that. This is what we do. This is what the product is. I just wanted to let you know, and would love to come down and meet you. It's like a no stress, no, not pushy, your conversions is going to be meetings. Your conversions is not going to be revenue on LinkedIn. It's purely going to be meetings, right? I would also educate your audience, like whatever your connections. I would write about your product if I were you, because that will also help, in the sense that it's a product that if you write, what is that product, how does it benefit you, why should a corporate buy that product, what kind of corporate need. Think about the questions that your client will have in any case and answer those questions on LinkedIn, right? So write about your product, write about how it helps people, why the corporate should buy it, whatever objections they will have, but it's so expensive. You can start your post with that, saying, oh, but I'll have to spend so much money. Then need to write about why this corporate should spend so much money, right? So I can think of a lot of content that you can create that will actually educate people. So I would keep two goals in mind for you. One is to educate people on your product. That is a lot of problems solved, because now people are reading about what your product does. And then I would just look for meetings from LinkedIn. So I would reach out to who I think is my audience. I would refine that exactly who to sell it to. And then I would just look for meetings. And when that person goes and sees your profile, they would see material on your product, maybe a couple of posts talking about what the product is, why it is expensive, what kind of corporate, what is the benefit, sustainability, whatever it is that you want to write about. I would do that. So first figure out who your TG is, educate your TG, write content educating your TG. Sometimes you just take stuff off your website. If you have website, you can just take stuff off your website and write, this is what I feel everyone should know. And never feel embarrassed or this thing about, it's your content, it's your page, it's your content, do what you want to with it. So educate your customer and look for meetings. That's your conversion. Your revenue will happen from there, but for you, LinkedIn, the conversion is going to be meeting conversions. That's what I feel. So what I do is that I use it in two ways. One is that somebody who's worked with me on, let's say, an HR person or anybody who's hired me, the deciding person, right? So the decision maker, it could be the sales head or HR head or L&D head, whatever. I ask them obviously to refer me to other people, right? And when they refer me, or when I hear about them, or when they tell me, why don't you talk to so and so person, first thing I go is connect with them on LinkedIn, because I want them. See, for me, my LinkedIn is my sales page, right? So I first go and connect with them on LinkedIn because I want them to go and see who I am. So just by referral, and then I'm boosting what they think about me by sending them a connection request. Now they can see what is the kind of stuff I do, what I speak on, how I speak, etc. That's one way of doing it. The second thing that I've done is, which has also worked for me, is that I have a lot of people who follow me, and then they send me messages saying that I really like your content. Like very recently, there's this girl, HR of a mutual fund company. She really follows my content. And then she DM'd me saying that, I really like what you say and I like how relatable your content is. I said, thank you so much. I've seen that you always come and like my content. What a pleasure it is to have, someone like you. And I love compliments like this, etc. And then I told her, I do a lot of sample sessions for corporates. It would be great if you could refer me to the right person. If you could just show my profile to the right person. Very happy to come and do a sample session for your organization, for the women of your organization. It's something that gives me a lot of joy. She connected me to the right person, the DNI person, saying that this is the girl I follow and this is what she talks about. And, so these are the two kind of references I've used. I've always gone to people who have been the key decision makers and asked them to refer me to people. And then even if they refer me on WhatsApp, even if they send a mail, whatever, I will respond to that mail, but I will also connect with them on LinkedIn because it is my sales page. And the second thing is, I've asked my followers to connect me to HR or to the key decision makers within. I believe I read this book called 1000 True Fans, and it's very true. Even if you have 500 people on LinkedIn who really like you, or like who have a relationship with you, networked with them, and you've spoken to them, they like your content, come back, I reach out to them. I reach out to them. I reach out to them and I say that, can you connect me to the right person in your organization? Because this is a fan. This is someone who likes my, work. So I've used it like that. There's one more thing that I want to add here. When COVID happened, we had so much time on our hands. I made a video on this. I used LinkedIn extensively. What I would do is, I reached out to people within the industry. I reached out to people everywhere. I create a lot of content. So people who are in content creation, I reached out to people, HR, etc. And I said that, we have so much time now. Let's do a networking. Let's just do a coffee chat, virtual coffee chat. You'll be amazed at how many people say yes. Even I continue to do that now. So I randomly write to people that I've been connected with, or we've followed each other, or we've engaged with each other. And there's so many people like that. And that's the benefit of engaging on LinkedIn. So many people. And I randomly said, let's meet for virtual coffee. We set aside half an hour and I actually make it like coffee. So, we'll have like exactly like this. I will have a half an hour chat, some value added, something that I can teach them, something I can learn from them. I generally keep a cup of coffee also. I have networked with so many people. It started with COVID. I started doing it in COVID and I continue to do it now. I send out random messages saying, would love to meet you for coffee. I did it with, you will not believe it. I also did it with the founder of Juno School. Tarun ko I reached out. I first started creating some content for Juno. The agency that was creating content for them is also someone who's worked for me on my YouTube channel. He was the common guy, Rahil, and Rahil reached out to me saying they want to create content. Will you create a few reels? I said, happily, I will do so. I started creating reels and I reached out to Tarun saying, Tarun, I would love to generally chat with you on scaling startups, because he's done one startup and Tarun and I spoke. And Tarun and I spoke. He gave me some guidance on how to scale up She Means business. I spoke to him about more that he can do with Juno School. And then he suggested, why don't you do a masterclass for us also? And then he put me onto the team. So just random reaching out for a virtual chat or a virtual coffee will work wonders also. So that's how I have done it. I hope that answers your question.